Welcome back again. This is Fox. Not really the next step in our Anno 1800 playthrough. This video is going to be an in-depth look at Docklands. How I'm using it, obviously in my save, to trade for all of the original investor goods. A few tips and tricks I've learnt along the way. Yeah, how you can streamline it, how you can exactly calculate what you need to trade over a certain period of time, how you lay it all out. And yeah, let's get cracking. So, my Docklands. As you can see, I have every single depot utilised, every single loading wharf, every single export office. I need this on an island like this. I've got to support 428,000 investors with all of their original investor goods by trading. So when I say original investor goods, that is spectacles, coffee, bulbs, champagne, cigars, although a lot of the cigars are being supplied by specialists in the town halls, chocolate, and steam carriages. This chocolate is a little bit low because Tobias is about to pull up. I need to adjust the timer slightly. The amount of chocolate we're trading for. Tobias is here now. Chocolate will shoot straight back up. So yeah, I need to adjust ever so slightly the amount of chocolate that we need. Yeah, apart from that, everything's running like clockwork. That is literally about 10 seconds where they run out of chocolate. And then it comes back in. So I will adjust that after this video. But yeah, for now we're going to jump straight in. So, basic tips. You want to get as many loading wharfs as you can, obviously. You want Tobias to be trading as fast as he can and then be off again. So you want every single loading wharf you can fit around your Docklands. Each one of these increase the loading speed by 50%. I've got 15, so it's a massive, massive boost. The next thing you want to do is you want to put an item in the Harbour Master's office, which increases the loading speed as well, which is this one. Khadija Sege, Angareb's Market Master. I'm not too sure where you get this woman from, to be honest. I research her in the Institute, so that's the best place to get her. There is one other item that increases the loading speed, but he's a legendary, and you only get one of them. It's part of one of the quest lines, so pretty much this is the only item you can use to affect your loading speed. This increases the loading speed by 30%. Now, if you use this woman in your Docklands, and obviously you use all of those 15 loading wharfs, you can get the main harbour up to 44 tonnes a second. The main Dockland wharf goes up to 17.6 tonnes a second. And if you use an advanced pier, so a pier and then upgraded, it can go to 35.2. The reason I use the advanced piers and not the piers that come with the Docklands itself is for this reason. Look, just make a note of this. 35.2 tonnes a second. If we delete one of these, and we bring in one of the piers that you get with the Docklands, it's only 26.4. You're losing. Well, almost 9 tonnes a second worth of trading speed, which is something you want to avoid. Excuse me, that's messed up this dude now, who was blockading the pier. That was going to be my next thing to show you. I'll see if I can get him back to the main harbour. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use this to blockade. Here we go. Right. So he is trying to unload at the main Docklands wharf. The reason you want to do this is because it's super slow. It's 16.6 tonnes a second. It's virtually half the speed of one of these advanced piers. Now, the amount of goods I'm trading on this island is ridiculous. For me to have 17 tonnes a second instead of 35.2 is breaking. I wouldn't be able to trade the amount of goods that I need to supply these over the time it takes to unload it. So I have to blockade this main Docklands wharf. And the way you do that is you just set a ship with a trade route to unload something that it can't unload because the warehouse is full. So this Investor 1 island is full of clay. Therefore, this ship cannot unload it. As long as you've got this selected, wait to unload, this ship will constantly sit. It will sit there forever now, trying to unload at this main Docklands wharf. That means it blocks it for all of the ships. It blocks it for all of your other ships doing the trade routes, and most importantly, it blocks it for Tobias. So that one tip alone is saving, well, that one tip alone enables me to trade everything that these investors need without any bother whatsoever. I could not do it if I did not do this one simple trick, the blockade. The taking twice as long to unload the goods would mean I need to stockpile twice as many. Well, I just haven't got the storage on the island to do it, you'll see. If we go into the actual Docklands now and have a quick look at what's going on here. The overall island storage I've got on here is 8,550. Now you can see the coffee is maxed out at, I'm using just over 8,000 tons a minute. Just over 8,000 tons, sorry, I am trading. Now that's basing it on the 34 tons a second. If that was 17 tons a second, I would need, it would take twice as long, and I would need 16,000 tons of coffee stockpiled to last until Tobias came back again. So you can see the dilemma I'm at, or the things you have to deal with when dealing with huge populations and trading for their goods. So very, very important. Blockade the main Docklands wharf so that your ships use the advanced piers, or even better, the Grand Trading Post. So yeah, once that's done, you've got a set figure. I mean, if he loads at the Grand Trading Post, even better. But base your figures on the advanced pier. So 35.2 tons a second is what all of my calculations are worked at. 35.2 tons a second. So once you've got that figure, you know that Tobias is at least going to be loading at that speed. Then you can start to plan and do some calculations. For that, we are going to take a look at now the spreadsheets that I have created. This is a spreadsheet that I have made. Every island has its own one. Every island has different, slightly different, obviously, loading speed time because the islands are different. You need a different amount of goods, which means it takes a longer amount of time for Tobias to unload. Tobias's time to unload is set in stone. It does not change. Now, how you work that out is the easiest way is if you go to the statistics screen, go to storage, passive trade. This list shows you all of Captain Tobias's past trades, and it tells you how long ago they were. Now, this 5 and 7, ignore that. That's because he swapped piers halfway through. We were messing something around. But yeah, the difference between the times is how long it takes him to load. So 34 minus 7 is 27 minutes. 62 minus 34 is 28 minutes. Now, for some reason, this isn't exactly 28 minutes. You can add a couple of minutes on. Whatever this says, I would recommend adding 3 minutes on. Or even better, you can work it out yourself. The way you work it out yourself is it doesn't take into account the amount of goods that you are loading onto the ship. So the goods that you are trading for, it doesn't take into account when loading, or it doesn't take into account the time it takes to get them onto the ship. Do not ask me why. I've tested this extensively. If it did take into account these goods that you're loading onto the ship, as well as the ones it is unloading, that would mean for this island alone, I would be loading 36,802. So if we bring up a calculator, 36,802 tons. That is what we would need to unload. So if we divide that by 35.2, which is the tons per second the advanced pier can load at, this gives it in seconds. We divide that by 60 seconds to give us in minutes. That would be 17 minutes on top of the standard 20 minutes that the Tobias clock has. So that would be 37 minutes for him to get to the Docklands, unload all the goods, and then up it again. But we can see from the timer in the statistics page that it was a lot less than that. It was at 28. It's actually around about 32 for this island, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the way you can calculate how long it's going to take Tobias exactly to unload all of the goods is you add all of the goods that you are importing, so all of the goods that you want. So all of these figures, these tons figures, you add all of these up. So 835, 1476, 1569, and so on, all the way down. And for me, that comes to 27,885. So 27,885. If we now divide that by the 35.2, which gives us the number of seconds, we then divide that by 60 for the number of minutes, is 13 minutes. You can see I said it was around about 33 minutes. Add 4 or 5-ish minutes onto the time that it says in the statistics page. Yeah, so we're 33 minutes. We can say pretty much dead at 33 minutes. If Tobias was trading every single one of these goods, if we have space in the warehouse to trade for every single one of these goods and load them back in. So, 33 minutes. Remember that. 33 minutes. Now we go to the spreadsheet. 33 minutes. Everything is based around that, how you now work everything else out. Now, I've got, you see this highlighted pink box here? This is time taken in minutes to Tobias to do his trade. That's for him to enter the region, unload everything, and offload it. Now, we just worked it out at 33. The reason I've only got it at 32 is because at the minute, I'm not using all of the tallow that we're trading for. I haven't even got the tallow highlighted in this section. But the tallow I've got down at 3,000 tons to be imported over that time span. I'm only using 1,000 of it a minute, which is accounting to about another minute's worth of trading. So I've got this set at 32. So if I'm baffling you with words, you're going to have to look back over this because it is a bit complicated. But I said this was going to be more of an advanced video. So once you know how long it takes Tobias to do his trade, then everything else is easy peasy. All you need to do is work out how much of each good you need per minute. So I've done that. On this island, I need 257 tons of coffee, 38 tons of glasses, 26 tons of cigars, 151 tons of rubber, 58 bulbs, 112 chocolate, 14 champagne. This is the tallow here. There was not need for that, but I am importing. Well, it says 2,500 here, but it's 3,000. I need 101 ton of iron a minute, 12 tons of cabs, 7 tons of filaments. I need some other things as well, obviously. The other thing that I could have put in here was glass, but I haven't got enough export offices for that, so I make the gas on site. It is literally just 1 quartz mine, 2 glass factories. You can fit that on any island with quite ease. So once you know how much in tons you need per minute, as I say, this says 257 tons coffee. We go Control Q. Go down to coffee. It's on 259 because I have just been fiddling around with this island and upped it slightly. It says 112 tons of chocolate. It says 112. So yeah, we're round about there. So once you know how long it takes, once you know how much you need a minute, which is simply the statistics screen, you need to multiply that by the time it takes for Tobias to do his trade, for the overall figure that you need to import every time he comes. So simply 257 multiplied by 32 gives us the amount needed. I have input this sum into this. You can see at the top here, sum is N3 times H3. N3 is the amount of coffee you need in tons per minute. H3 is this, the time taken in minutes. So it's easy to work out how much you need. All you need to first work out is how long it takes Tobias to do his trade. Multiply that by how many tons you need a minute. That is the overall figure you want in the export box, so that you've got exactly the right amount of goods coming in every time he trades. So amount you need in minutes multiplied by the time it takes to do his trade. Here's your overall figure. Now I've had to split some of these between varying different tradable goods because I ran out of penny farthings. So the rest then is really easy. You need to work out your pyramid. I mean, I'll take it you're going to know what you want in your pyramid. I've opted to go for penny farthings in the top because I'm making the most of those. I did try advanced weapons in the top. It was very, very similar into the overall output because obviously advanced weapons have a higher exchange ratio. But we're only making about a quarter of those on the island compared to the penny farthings. So for me, this is the setup that I found works best. Penny farthings in the top, advanced weapons second, motors third. Obviously pocket watches and elevators, which I'm using for elsewhere. Yeah, then all you need to do is once your pyramid's set up and you're happy with it, you hover over it, it gives you the exchange ratio per good. So we're going to bring up this sheet again. So once you know what's needed, you then need to go and if you want to use a spreadsheet to work all these calculations out, you need to input the exchange ratio in each column for each item you're going to use it for. Now I'm trading the coffee for penny farthings and advanced weapons. So penny farthings, I've highlighted this section here. This is how much is being traded for penny farthings out of that 8,000 224. I'm trading 294.945 tons. How I got that figure is M4 times by the ratio. So the amount inputted, I'm using 105 tons of penny farthings, multiplied by 2.809, which is the exchange ratio of penny farthings to coffee, 2.809. So it takes a bit of time filling this spreadsheet out. You have to, one, decide which goods you want to use to trade for each one, and then input the ratios in here. So you need how much you're putting in times by the exchange ratio. You can see for glasses, the exchange ratio of pennies to glasses is 2.596. You can see at the top here. Advanced weapons to coffee, the exchange ratio is 5.085. I've just gone that all the way along. Most of these are inputted. You can see where they're noughts. It's where I've been using them for. I have been using these items on different islands. So on one of the islands, I was using watches for the rubber, gramophones for rubber. So yeah, it took a little while importing all the ratios. But when that's done, it's a piece of cake. So you can almost backwards engineer it. I know that I need, let's say, 1,216 glasses.
This city is a magnet for genius.
So you could type 1,216 spectacles in here. I've got 1,220, and it gives you the amount of penny farthings that you need, 470. So as long as you are going along, that you make sure you're not using the amount more than the amount that you've got, this will always work out. Again, how do I know how many penny farthings I've got to trade? It's that same sum again. It's the amount you're making per minute. I'm making 151 penny farthings per minute on this island. Multiply by 32, which is the time it's taking him to do his trade. That gives us a total amount of penny farthings to mess around with in the Speicherstat by 4,832. Again, I've just done some simple sums then in the column. I've done an amount left column. So all this is the total minus all of these input values. So how many penny farthings I'm using for each thing. So if this was to take me exactly 32 minutes to do the trading, I will end up with 6 penny farthings left at the end. Now that is pretty much perfect for me because you need all of the penny farthings. If you're using the same setup as me, which is bicycle factories, making the penny farthings plus a shit ton of byproducts being advanced weapons, motors, watches and gramophones. If you want to use all of the byproducts every time for trading, these penny farthings need to be used up to the last one or near as damn it. Otherwise the penny farthing factories will stop. You won't be making the full amount of advanced weapons, which in this case is 1,568. You won't be making the same amount of motors. You won't be making the exact amount of watches, the exact amount of gramophones. So most important thing, if you're setting up islands like this down to the fine T, you need to make sure that the main good you're using, if you are using the byproducts from it, is always being used. So on every island, I'm making sure that I am always using all the penny farthings. That gives me all of the other byproducts I can use as and when. It doesn't matter. As long as the penny farthings are being used, you're always going to have the right amount of these to play with. That being said, there's not much else to this spreadsheet really. This has been adapted for every island. I mean, I can bring another one up quick. Investor 2. Same deal. I'm making 144 penny farthings on this. This is a slightly smaller island with a slightly smaller population. It's only taking 28.5 minutes for Tobias to do his round. Calculations are the same. The amount needed in tons per minute multiplied by the time taken for Tobias to do his trade gives us the amount needed. And then obviously I'll just do the same thing. Just fiddle around with the input of the bicycles, advanced weapons, motors or watches, whichever one I decide I want to use, always ensuring that the penny farthings are almost drained. So you can see I've got 23 left a minute here. I'm not using all of the advanced weapons, motors, watches or gramophones. So there's a little bit in lieu there to account for the penny farthings not being totally used at the end of every run. So yeah, basic spreadsheet, really useful for me. It really helps me when I'm planning this stuff out. Enables me to get the right amount in. I mean, I'm always dialing in a little bit more. Like this said I need 12, 16. I'm doing 12, 20. You could probably give it a bigger buffer in all honesty on some of these higher goods like cigars and champagnes that they use quite a lot of. like if that told me I needed 1450, I would probably give it 1476, which is roughly what I'm doing here. Give yourself a tiny little buffer, but try and make sure that you're using all of the main good, if you like, the penny farthings.
Like a king in one's castle.
Another important thing I'll say, or another really good tip, if you are trading for goods that are working in factories that you are then using again for trading, like for me, I'm using the bicycles. They use rubber and iron. It's paramount that you get these two goods on the top of this trade list, because Tobias works his way through this trade list from top to bottom, so he'll go boop like this. So if he runs out of penny farthings by the time he gets to the bottom, doesn't really matter, because you've got, well, it does matter because you've messed your calculations up, but the worst thing you could do is him run out of penny farthings, your rubber and iron are halfway down this list, then the whole thing shuts down. You've not got enough rubber, you haven't got enough iron to keep the penny farthings going, to in turn make all of the byproducts, which in turn is going to keep all of this trading going. So, as I say, that is another real important tip. The three most important tips I would say for using this, if you're thinking of doing this on a big scale like me. Number one, max out your loading wharfs. Get the trade time to as fast as you can. Max out your loading wharfs. Put that specialist in the Docklands that we spoke about, which was this woman, Khadija Tsegay, Angareb's market master. Use the advanced piers to utilise the extra speed that they load at. And the next one is, if you are using the penny farthings, or if you have goods being imported that are used to make the goods that you are exporting, always make sure they are top of the trading list. So a member of the Facebook group was using sewing machines in a similar way that I used penny farthings the other day. That way you would need to import the steel or the iron and the wood. Make sure they're at the top of the list. So if you're doing penny farthings, it's easy. Put your rubber and your iron at the top of the list. The rest doesn't really matter as long as you're providing enough goods to supply it. The reason we keep running out of chocolate, or we're just running out of chocolate slightly at the end, is that penny farthings are at the... This is the last item that I'm trading for penny farthings, so the chocolate's running out sort of 10 to 15 seconds before he comes back. It's not really affecting me in any way, shape or form. It doesn't have time to decrease the population, or the money issue is not a bother, so I will correct it, but if it's a small little buffer like that, 20-30 seconds with something running out and Tobias is coming back in, I would not worry about it. Yeah, I feel like I've just been waffling on. It might be a lot to take in. If this is the first time you've ever had a go at Docklands, these sort of things might be a bit ahead of you. But yeah, the spreadsheet is the main tool for me. Work out how long it takes for him to do his trade. Put the ratios in there. It then gives me the exact amounts that I need to trade. Make sure that you're not using too many of each good. The last thing you want to do is miscalculate how long it takes him to do his trade. That's the worst thing you want to do. If I had this set up at 28 minutes and it's taking 33, then all of these goods are going to be running out for the last 5 minutes, which is going to cause you massive drops in population, massive drops in money and income. If you're on a fine line like we are, us min-maxers, due to this, the money that it costs to keep these skyline towers and the skyscrapers running, then the last thing you want is these goods running out for more than a matter of 20-30 seconds. You're going to be in shit street. Why do these penny farthings keep dropping down every now and again? That's baffling me. I'll just watch that. Or maybe it was a glitch. I'll just watch it drop down one and then go back up. Shouldn't be, because I'm not obviously giving them the penny farthings. That would be madness. If I was giving them the penny farthings, I would need to be making twice as many on this island. Yeah, Docklands tips and tricks. I suppose we should talk about the little islands. A way you can work out if you're trading and trying to get to a figure in tons in minutes. It's pretty simple how you work that out. So we'll take a look at this island here. On this island, I'm trading for 3,400 grain, 3,400 tallow, and 3,400 steel brass a minute. Now, this is all incorporated in an overall figure that I'm working towards to supply Crown Falls. You can see Cape grain, I need 710 tons a minute. Cape brass, 600 tons a minute. What was the other one? Tallow. I need 710 tons a minute. Now, how do you know how many tons a minute you are generating? It's just sort of reverse of what we've done in working out how much we need for the investors. So, first thing you want to do is work out how much you're trading. Obviously, it's simple for me. I've just maxed out the island on this, so 3,400. Then all you do is divide it by how long it takes Tobias to do his trading. I would imagine this island is around about 28 minutes. Let's have a look. 34 minus 12 is what, 22? 34 minus 12 is 22. Yeah, if you add 5 minutes on, I think I've calculated these at 28 minutes. I've added 4 or 5 minutes on, so there's that strange little buffer. It must have something. I don't know why it has that 4 or 5 minute buffer, but it does. I've tested it on several islands. So yeah, if we said 28 minutes for the trade on this island, the way you work out how much you produce in a minute is the amount you're trading for, which is 3,400 divided by 28 is 121 tons a minute. Now, if we look at the trade route for one of these goods, I'm pretty sure I would have labelled that up. Yeah, look, grain. This is the grain going to Crown Falls that was being traded for. 3,400 minute divided by the 28 minutes was 121 tons. I've got this down as 20 tons a minute. So I can categorically say when I am using all of the grain in the tallow on Crown Falls, and this is emptying every time, it will be pretty much bang on 120 tons a minute I'm generating from that 3,400 tons. So it's very, very easy. That's why I'm using these small islands for this. The smaller numbers are easier to deal with. You've got a bit of leeway if you're producing it on a lot of islands. So these islands for using this for trading are very, very good for this. So I'm doing this all over on these little islands. Similar setup, trading for grain, tallow, steel and brass. Same deal. The amount divided by the trade time then gives you how much. So this one worked out at 130 tons a minute because we're importing slightly more, 4,300 compared to 3,700. It was taking a little bit longer for him to do his deal, so it worked out 130 tons of tallow per minute compared to 120 on the other island. But yeah, that's how you can work out how many tons a minute you're generating if you are working towards specific goals and you need to work out exactly how much, if you're designating islands just for trading, how much you are generating per minute. It's just the opposite. How much are imported divided by the time it's taking him to do his trading. That gives you the amount of tons per minute. Same thing, look, got a little ship blockade in the Docklands. This one doesn't because I'm not really trading anything on here, I don't think. I'm only trading the coal in the island that the steel mills are using. But you'll see this same sort of feature all around my islands. I'm using these container ships to blockade the normal pier so that we can make use of the advanced pier loading speed when we're calculating that stuff. Yeah, for now I think that's it. That is advanced tips for Docklands in a nutshell. So I'll just run over again what they were. It was max out the loading wharfs, use the specialist in the harbour, use advanced piers to get the fastest loading time as possible. Then, once you've worked your pyramid out, make sure that any goods you are using to create the goods that you are using to trade are on top. Easy peasy, straightforward. Don't make sure, just make sure that your calculations are right on how long it takes for him to do his trade. I can't stress that enough. If you are pushing the limit of your storage, if you are pushing the limit that you're trading for the amount of storage on the island like I am, that is key. Make sure you work out exactly how long it takes Tobias to do his trading. So go by this time, the time difference between his passive trades, and then add on about 5 minutes. That's what I do. So 39 minus 12, 39 minus 12, 27 plus 5 is 32 minutes, which was set in the spreadsheet that we looked at earlier. Yes. Anyway, advanced Docklands. I'm using this all over the Cape. You can see this is investor 1. This is investor 2. Exactly the same system. Investor 3. This is investor medium 1, I've called it. The Cape, I will be using exactly the same thing. I have a lot more storage space to deal with on here when I finally upgrade these and start things going over here. Yes, Docklands, very, very, very powerful, but it is a very, very fine line in between you working it out perfectly and everything just running out as he's coming back and filling it back up, to it all going to shit and being a terrible mess. I've learnt the hard way how to do it, and I've shared my wisdom with you, so take heed, make notes. Right, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. I am in the process, or I will be moving house very soon, within the next month. I will start streaming. I am going to start putting links at the end of these videos to my Twitch channel. If you enjoy these videos and you would like to see me building, come along, ask questions. I will be streaming on Twitch very soon, so yeah. In fact, I will put a link in the description to this to my Twitch channel. Get over there, follow me. As soon as I'm live, obviously, I'll let you know on the YouTube channel. But yeah, we'll get streaming. You can come along and join me in my progress. Ask me questions as we go along. Right. Yeah, as always, see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.